All for being such a wonderful audience. And let's give a thunderous applause for yourselves. Hello, yes. That's not thunderous. For the last many years, we have been conducting a very unique event in PBW Durga Pujo, which is called CEO Power Walk. যেখানে আমরা সমাজ এবং শিল্প ইন্ডাস্ট্রি সেখানে সব লিডারদের ডাকি ডেকে ওনাদের বলি যে এমন একটা সামাজিকভাবে খুব দরকারি ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট একটা প্রশ্ন সম্বন্ধে ডিসকাশন করতে কেন because these are the leaders who inspire us to lead a life which is socially relevant and responsible. Ajke, ladies and gentlemen, আমাদের theme হচ্ছে Women's Excellence in Sports. Should India look beyond cricket? And now I call Shantanu Sen to call the guests and introduce them to all of you.
Thank you, Shubhrata. Thank you. Namaskar, Shubho Sondha. মাফ করেন আজকে প্রোগ্রামটা শুরু হতে কয়েক মিনিট লেট হয়েছে বাট উইল মেক ডু যেরকম সুপ্রিয়তা বললেন আজকের লাস্ট 5 বছর ধরে আমাদের যে ইভেন্ট হচ্ছে দিস ইজ অ্যাবাউট উইমেন এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট দিস ইজ অ্যাবাউট নারী শক্তি আর মহিলার প্রগতি তো সেই নিয়ে আমাদের ডিসকাশন হবে The discussion will be largely in English, but we hope, we sincerely think that our discussion will connect with you in the crowd. A spotlight to come and it's hitting the face. Okay, so let me kind of go right away in the program. We are proud and privileged to bring you on this special day of Mahashoptami, a panel of august CEOs at the 5th edition of the CEO Power Walk. Through the discussion, we will learn from the panel on their views and on women empowerment, and empowerment what the society really needs to break the shackles of gender bias. Without much ado, I'll start introducing the CEOs on stage, or the panelists on the stage. Let me begin with Mr. Satyakam Basu. Mr. Basu is currently the Group CEO of S&D Group, and prior to this role, he had been engaged in leadership roles with Quest Corp, Shamshi Group, GPT Steel. Mr. Basu is a graduate from IIM Kolkata and an engineer from Jadavpur University. Please welcome on stage. We'll request to take the first seat there. Next, we'd like to call upon Mr. Arun Tukral, our very own, our very favorite Mr. Arun Tukral. Mr. Arun Tukral is MD and CEO of Axis Securities. Mr. Tukral has been with the Axis Bank since 2003. He is a graduate from Delhi University and possesses a number of degrees, including MCOM, LLB, CIB, CFP, and MBA, to name a few. He believes in striving for excellence in everything that we do. Apart from finance, he's passionate about yoga. In fact, his book, Yoga on Dalal Street, explores the connection between yoga and investor psyche. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Tukral. Next, we call upon Ms. Krishna Patil. A big hand for Mr. Krishna Patil. She is an Indian mountaineer. In 2009, at the age of 19, she successfully ascended the Mount Everest. She is a student of Nehru Institute of Mountaineering and recipient of Gandhi Puraskar in 2009. It's an honor to have you here, Ms. Patil. Next, we request Mr. Dinanath Dubashi to be on stage. Mr. Dubashi is the MD and CEO of L&T Finance Holdings Limited. Mr. Dubashi has been with the L&T Group for the last 12 years. Prior to L&T, Mr. Dubashi has worked with BNP Paribas in various roles locally and internationally. Mr. Dubashi is an MBA from IIM Bangalore and an engineer from Sardar Patel College. Next, we request Mr. Anup Bagchi. Mr. Anup Bagchi is Executive Director and with the ICICI Bank and a member of number of boards of the ICICI Bank Group. Mr. Bagchi is an engineer by education from IIT Kanpur and has a master's degree from IIM Bangalore. And in fact, he has a lot of awards to his credit as a finance professional. Next, we call upon Mr. Shishir Hatangari. Mr. Shishir Hatangari is a former Indian first-class cricketer representing the Mumbai team as the opening batsman and has been engaged in the selection board of the Mumbai Cricket Association. In keeping with today's theme of cricket mania in our country, his views are certainly add a lot of value. Did we leave out anybody? Yes. Sorry, let me begin. So, let me now introduce, or let me call upon Mr. Arpit Sharma on stage. Mr. Sharma is a familiar television presenter, mostly in the space of sports. Mr. Arpit Sharma will moderate the evening for you. Thank you, Mr. Arpit.
Good evening. Good evening. सबको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है? नहीं आ रही है? तो यहाँ पे एटलीस्ट मुझे 400 लोग दिख रहे हैं, एटलीस्ट सामने जो मेरे बैठे हैं. आप सबको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है? तो एक बार गुड इवनिंग हो जाए. गुड इवनिंग. तो अब आपकी आवाज़ मुझ तक आई है. आप 400 लोग हैं, थोड़ी तो आवाज़ आनी चाहिए नहीं? मेरा नाम अर्पित शर्मा है और यहाँ पर बैठकर हम एक पैनल डिस्कशन करने वाले हैं जो 5 सालों से हो रहा है. मैं सुन रहा हूँ 5th ईयर है अभी. क्यों करने वाले हैं ये थोड़ी देर में मैं आपको बता दूंगा, लेकिन शुरुआत करता हूँ एक सवाल से. हाउ मेनी पीपल वॉच्ड इंडिया वर्सेस साउथ अफ्रीका? ओनली 4 पीपल. हाउ मेनी पीपल वॉच्ड इंडिया वर्सेस साउथ अफ्रीका? कोई, मैं आपको जीके नहीं पूछने वाला हूँ, चलो 10 लोगों ने तो देखा. हाउ मेनी पीपल नो अविनाश साबले? 1 person over there knows him. Thank you so much. If you don't know him, it's all right. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम पूछेंगे कि क्यों नहीं जानते आप. बट अविनाश सांबले का नाम क्यों इम्पॉर्टेंट है हमारे लिए? क्योंकि 1952 के बाद वो पहले भारतीय बने हैं जो 3000 मीटर स्टीपल चेज में ओलंपिक में क्वालिफाई किए हैं. सो दैट्स अ मैसिव अचीवमेंट. आफ्टर मोर देन 50 years, we have a man who is representing us in the Olympics. So let's have that applause for him. Now, with that, I lead into my conversation here that we are a nation where cricket is a religion. And I'm sure आप में से काफ़ी लोग शायद थे हाथ नहीं उठाने में. सबको पता था इंडिया का क्या हुआ, सबको पता था रोहित ने 2 सेंचुरी मारी, सबको पता था ना, लेकिन हाथ नहीं उठाना था. पता नहीं ये पूछ न ले हमसे. Having said that, we don't know who Avinash is. But that's okay. And that's what we're going to talk about. In a country where cricket is celebrated as a religion, where the players are treated as gods sometimes, women are more often than not marginalized in sports. Before we continue, and I'm sorry to take just 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, how many men over here have played cricket when they were younger? 25? एक? सर सच सच बोलते हैं, सब खेले हैं ना? Okay, how many women have played cricket when they were younger? I love that. I think there are 2 children over here who've raised their hands, but I guess that's what we are going to be addressing. That the little kids are the ones who had that opportunity and went out and played, while a vast majority of the women who are sitting in the audience maybe didn't have that chance, maybe weren't pushed to. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to talk about here. अब मैं काफ़ी देर यहाँ पे खड़ा हो लिया. And I hear that the audience also has mics. Is that right? So at any point, if you want to get involved in this conversation, please do raise your hands, because this topic covers something that is apt for everybody. Now, I've done the introduction. Everyone's been introduced over here. I'm sure everyone has their views, opinions about this. Everyone on this stage has worked so hard in their life to be here. We have MBAs, we have IIM alumni over here, we have someone who's climbed Mount Everest. And then I took the shortcut. I just started hosting events, so that's how I got here. I'm lucky enough to be here. This is my first association, and I hope long it continues, and which is why I have my file. Now, as sports has moved ahead, we have seen a development in other sports, and it's great to know that a lot of women are representing sports and are becoming household names as well. We speak about PV Sindhu, we speak about Saina Nehwal, we speak about Sania Mirza, we speak about Swapna Burman, who won a gold for us in the Asian Games last year. In fact, Asian Games पिछले साल अगर आपने देखे होंगे तो हमारी medal tally सबसे ज़्यादा थी 70 medal for India, which is a big achievement. And we hope that it grows. And it will grow when women participate more, because they have been representing us so well. Unfortunately, there's a lot of social stigma, or whatever the reasons are, and that's what we're going to get started with. And Mr. Dinanath, I'd like to start with you. Where do you see sports as something that can contribute to a woman's personal development on a much larger scale than it is right now?
Absolutely. I think, can you hear me? Yeah. So why women? I think sports contributes to everybody's personal development, most certainly, but definitely women. And what is it that it gets for women? In a state like Haryana, when the Fogart sisters win medals, win championships, I don't think they are just winning medals or championships. They are taking the first step to perhaps changing the sex ratio in the state of Haryana. And I think those achievements need to be looked at from where the country was and to where the country is. The topic of today, beyond cricket, I think women have done perhaps way more to take the sports beyond cricket. You took an example. How many of us know names of men's sportsmen other than cricket?
Yep.
Yeah? I am among Bengalis, so maybe football. But generally speaking, beyond cricket. But women, you took a few names which are household names. Mary Kom made us extremely Krishna sitting on my left. I mean, mountaineering, we may have excelled in our fields, but in our fields we don't lose lives. We don't lose body parts. And when you climb Everest, you can lose your life. You can definitely lose a body part, a toe or a finger. And those kind of achievements are just the first step towards empowerment. I'm a by nature optimistic person. A very simple thing. While movies like Padman, etc., are very important to spread the sanitary napkins, but if you today see any advertisement of sanitary napkins, 9 out of 10 times you will see the woman being free to play sports or free to exercise. So just one example of how sport is going in very small way, very minor ways also, but being all pervasive to move towards women empowerment. So while we talk big, while we may be doing many things in many fields, sports definitely a very important thing. Across winning medals, across just making a normal housewife healthy, to making India great, to changing social culture of various states. Everywhere, sports and women are changing the country. That's what I would feel.
All right, thank you so much for that. Now, of course, we've spoken about the fact, अगर तालियां बजा ही रहे ना तो खुल के बजाएंगे, है ना? शर्मा के नहीं बजाएंगे. शर्माना मेरा काम है. Arun, I'm going to come to you with this. And we've spoken about the personal development. One of the major factors that holds women back, unfortunately, still would be education. Now, do you see sports as being that spark that can maybe help them with their education as well and their all-round development eventually?
I think you have hit the nail. Because education is the most important thing. Because what we have seen in villages where we are saying the childhood poverty we see, at the first instance, if there is a problem at the house, the girl gets withdrawn from the school. So when she is out of the school, obviously sports is far away. So I think education becomes the most important, because once she is educated, and that's why the proverb goes, when you educate a woman, you educate a family. So I think for sport also, maybe if there is a female athlete or a female mountaineer, there are a lot of people who would look at her, and it will be much more than when they follow a man. We have seen all across, but yes, there are challenges, there are gender biases, there are infrastructure problems, there are financial problems. And we have to look at all these challenges and come out of that, and maybe then we can say yes. But most importantly, first what you said is education is the most important thing, because then you are going to know about all these challenges, then you are going to find a solution about this. Then you would know that yes, they have to come out of comfort zone and then do everything. And I'm saying not they means women, all other people. Because then they have to provide a platform for all the girls and women in this country so that they do much better. But first is education, and then the sports will definitely follow. And it's a great enabler.
All right. On that note, I'm going to come to you, Krishna, because you've climbed Everest. I mean, I don't know how many men over here or women over here have even dreamed of climbing Everest. Is there anyone who's actually thought, एक दिन मैं एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ूंगा या चढ़ूंगी? नहीं, I mean that's a very unusual thing.
I stay on the 13th floor. I have not ever thought of climbing 13 floors. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much most of us. Lift है तो चढ़ के क्यों जाए? But you've climbed Everest, which is mind-boggling. I mean, I'm losing adjectives to describe it. In terms of you having that opportunity to even consider that, I mean, the fact that you wanted to do it is, of course, individual, but I'm sure you must have had a support structure around that allowed you to do that. And what do you think needs to change for maybe the more unfortunate women who don't have that support structure like you did?
So, honestly, I studied in the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. And when I first went there, I was 15 years old, and we were a group of 150 girls that had come for the adventure course. So, as a 15-year-old, I did not know the difference between a girl and a boy, except that they wore a frock and shorts.
You
and
were
by
around
the time,
some weird boys.
Yeah, and I think my school was like that. I think that comes from privilege. Again, I had an excellent school. Not a Symbiosis school, was a SSC board school, but we had an excellent principal that put really amazing values in us. But to see a pan-India thing where I don't have to talk about my own experience, the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, when I did my basic mountaineering course as a 17-year-old, we were 174 girls, okay? And we had about, like, 70% of those girls were from villages of India. They were from Uttarakhand, they were from Northeast, they were from Jharkhand. Maximum was, again, Maharashtra population, because somehow Maharashtrians and Bengalis actually are obsessed with the Himalayas. So most girls came from there, and some of my most closest mountaineering friends are girls from Himachal villages or Uttarakhand villages that are skiing instructors, that are mountaineering instructors, that are not famous, that are not earning a lot of money, but they are 37-year-old women that are like, marriage? What? Why would I get married? So I would say that our instructors, our mountaineering instructors never, I remember one of my most favorite instructors said, ladki hai to kya? बारिश उतनी ही गिरेगी, ठंड उतनी ही है, तेरे को उतना ही चलने का है. So, and this was something that was put into us as mountaineers, that the mountain is not going to be nicer to you because you're a girl. So I am not going to be nicer to you because you're a girl. तेरे को period cramps है, कोई बात नहीं, no problem, चलते रहने का. Like, just keep walking. So, yeah, please applause for this instructor. He was the greatest man I know. As a growing up girl and as a young adult, I was not given the privilege of thinking of myself apart from men. It was like, yeah, so, you know. And again, I think that women have this in them. They are, and I think that is the privilege of being in the mountains, that we are so far away from society and we are so far away from norms and cultures that it's what the mountain tells you to do. So the girls that I know from my mountaineering courses, or my friends that are from small villages that probably actually studied only till 7th standard or only till 10th standard, but they have that strength and they have that confidence of being one with nature and powerful enough to survive it, that they're like, yeah, we can take on anything. And so I think sometimes we forget that through our lifestyles in cities and through yeah, so that is my experience.
It's so interesting that you spoke about rural women and women from Uttarakhand and all coming and talking, because I didn't expect that. I thought mountaineering sounded like an elitist sport, and I would have expected mostly, that's how bad my knowledge is of the sport. But it's great to hear that there are women from these parts of the country coming. And Shishir, I'm going to bring you into this conversation here because you've played cricket at a very high level. You're still involved with the Mumbai Cricket Association. A lot of times, people say Indian women aren't good enough to be competing for the bigger prizes at the bigger stages. I'm sure you don't agree with it because I've never seen a sportsman who said this about a woman. But why is this their mentality there, and what do we need to change in terms of that to be able to accept that women can dream bigger in terms of sports?
Good evening all. Durga Pujor apnake subhecha. I'm going to be a bit of a show off now and speak more in Bengali because my heart is still in Bengal. I was born there. But to answer your question, you know, when I was growing up, I had a tutor who used to come in and teach me very unexcited because he knew he was hitting his head against a brick wall. But he always told me this in Bengali, and he said, "Porashona kore je ghoda gadi chode she." So he meant that if you study, it'll help you in your sport, even if you're not good at studies. You know, and I saw a lot of girls around me who were so good in studies, and I wondered if they applied themselves in any other art form, and I look at sport as an art form, they would be far ahead of men, far ahead of guys who had just brawn and no brain. And believe me, I came up in an era where, you know, brawn was the only thing, you know, it wasn't brain. And you saw these girls ahead of you intellectually, and you felt they were the ones, if they got an opportunity in sport, they would, you know, just crack it. And over the years, we've seen that. We've seen what normal, common sense intellect can do. I was looking through some names today of achievers in women achievers, lady achievers, girls achievers in sport. And they all come from small towns, you know, whether it's a Jalpaiguri, whether it is Orissa, you know, Bhubaneswar, not many from metros, which tells you they have a desire. And I'll tell you what, in the years to come, believe me, you will find the women, be it cricket, be it steeplechase, be it tennis, be it badminton, be it even athletics, and of course Mary Kom and, you know, their ilk, you will find they'll bring more glory to India than the Virat Kohlis of the world. And I say this convincingly because there are two things that will give them that cutting edge. One is the desire. जब भी भूख लगेगी तो खाना ढूंढेंगे. हमारे यहाँ क्या है, बचपन में हम खेलते थे, अरे क्या करते हो, तो बोलते क्रिकेट खेलता हूँ. अरे वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन करते क्या हो? मैं बोला नहीं क्रिकेट खेलता हूँ. आज बोले कि क्या करते हो? मैं बोला आईपीएल खेलता हूँ. जरा इसका कुंडली ले लो, देखो हमारी बेटी के लिए अच्छी है कि नहीं, ये शादी कर सकते हैं. तो respectability comes from money, it comes from stature, it comes from glamour. And these things are actually a product, a byproduct of performance. So believe you me, you will find the endorsements, and you know there are a lot of brand gurus here who will realize that individual women and ladies who perform will capture the market when it comes to, you know, top of the mind brand recall, and with money will come, you know, inspiration, aspiration for the next generation. I saw Gavaskar, so I wanted to bat opening. Today you find so many of them, the Hima Dases of the world, inspiring, you know, a generation of sportsmen, a sportswoman to achieve. And 10 years later, if we are still around, we'll be saying, yeah, who's Virat Kohli? I assure you that.
Wow, thank you so much. That's a very passionate statement you made over there. On that financial note, Mr. Anup Bagchi, if I could bring you in, because a lot of women empowerment nowadays focuses on the social system, on what to change about it. When it comes to sports, economics is a factor you have to consider. Let's not make any joke about it. Cricket sells. The reason cricketers are paid so much money is because there are so many people watching the sport. The reason IPL is so big is because the sponsors are ready to get onto the bandwagon. Now, recently we had PV Sindhu, who won a tournament, and she came back, and we had governments from across India just dying to endorse her and to praise her and to award her money. It wasn't just, you know, an accolade for it. It was money as well. And there were news channels that were doing totals of how much money she made just because the governments gave her money, and they gave her houses and they gave her cars. Why have we not focused so much on the economics when we know that there is the money for a woman who excels in sport? And how much difference can that make to get the women out there, to get the Hima Dases, the Deepa Karmakars out there, who have not made it to that level. How important is that for them to come up then?
Good evening. I think, first of all, in India, the diversity of sports, women have done much, much better than men.
True.
I think first we must acknowledge is, if you look at any cut-off data, it is true. Actually, beyond cricket, hardly anybody recognizes any other sportsman. But sportswoman, actually it is very, very diverse. That is number one. Number two, if you look at sports, once upon a time, and Shishir has played cricket at the highest level, there was no money 30 years back. When there was no money 30 years back, I know for sure that there were many parents who would say that never play because there is no money there. It was only passion. Now, if you have only passion, which becomes a sacrifice, then it cannot become a career. If there is a little bit of cut you have to take, maybe 20%, 30%, 40%, and there's a decent probability of making money, actually you will have career sportsmen, which is what IPL has made. So IPL has made career sportsmen. And so you make careers out of that. If you look at badminton, for example, which is an excellent example, why did Gopi sir come? Gopi sir came because Mr. Padukone was there. And then, because he could not win the ultimate, he said, I'll start an academy. Now, in the academy, when everybody gets the same infrastructure, when everybody gets the same platform, then who are excelling? Is it women or is it men? You will see that women are excelling more than men in badminton. And with that excellence, money is also now chasing them. In fact, she is the only woman she is in the top 25 Forbes highest paid athlete. And the reason why people are not able to, catch her for endorsement is because she's booked. So now what is she doing? Because action speaks louder than words, and examples really make, many, many people aspire for that. So I think aspiration in general is coming in a very, very big way in India because of digital, because of social media. What is it doing? It actually bridging the ignorance gap of knowledge. And with that, then once people start to aspire, then infrastructure is also coming in. In fact, this budget, the allocation to sports in such a tight budget is 100% up. Is 100% up. There is no other sector where the allocation of budget is 100% up, not even defense. Because sports now slowly is becoming a symbol of economic power. And if you see sports over years, it is actually an economic power statement, which is why you have Olympics. What is Olympics at the end of it? It is economic power. And one more I would want to share with you. In the last 30 years, the number of women athletes in Olympics, it was around 26% in 1988. The last Olympic, it was 47%. In the next Olympic, it will be 50-50. So certainly money is going to come, it is going to entice, but examples of success is very critical. And I think in India, we are having a very, very diverse examples of success in women's sports. The other thing that you have to see is that from which strata of society are they coming? They are coming from a strata which is generally impoverished. Okay, and which is why you are also seeing that individual sports, they are doing better in individual sports. You do better in individual sports when you come from impoverished strata because you can manage your own ambition, you can manage your own drive. When it comes to team sports, it becomes difficult because in team sports, you require a lot more money, you require a lot more coordination, and you have to make a team of 11 equally committed people, which without money, it becomes very difficult. So I think there is going to be a shift now from individual sports to team sports. And once team sports starts to come, that is where more eyeballs starts to come in businesses. If you look at the highest eyeballs, it is always in team sports. You look at NBA, NBA is a team sports, cricket is a team sports.
Kabaddi now.
Kabaddi is a team sport. So team sports, because they have 11 people and there is teamwork and there are other many, interactions that are happening within the thing. I think that shift from an individual sports to team sports is happening. Once that happens, the money that flows in is tremendous. Actually, if you look at data of women cricket and the money that has come into women cricket in 30 times, it is more than 100x. More than 100x. So clearly it is coming. It's only a matter of time. And with digital and social media and people looking forward to more and more idols that they can emulate, I think the time of India is now. And I think with economic power coming in India's way, I think sports is not going to lag behind. I am 150% confident it's going to happen. And in women, I can tell you, and next year we are going to be here again, diversity will be higher than men's sports.
All right. That's a fantastic outlook. Mr. Satyakam Basu, I'm going to get you in on this. Are we being too utopian right now? I know none of us are going to say bad things at all. That's not going to happen. We want women to be encouraged in sports. We want all of them to succeed at a level where they get what PV Sandhu is getting, or, get the recognition from an Olympics or an Asian Games. But are we being too utopian in that thinking? Should we be focusing on maybe smaller goals in terms of sports being available to women just so that they can empower themselves, change themselves at a level where maybe they won't have the global recognition or even the country level recognition, but just as their lives would lead maybe a better life and maybe a slightly more equal life with the men?
Hi, good evening. I think, let me start with a story, little one. I was telling Shishir that I used to work for Tata Steel for very long. And in our time, the biggest glamour man in Tata Steel used to be Rusi Modi, big time glamour man. One day, there was we used to have like a junior level conversation, there was a senior level conversation. And one lady was invited. She was Miss Bachendri Pal. And that day, Rusi Modi was a non-entity. So basically what you are saying is it's a chicken egg story. You need an idol to follow. I'm very happy to see Krishna sitting here. Believe me, that day, standing next to Bachendri Pal, in those days we didn't have selfies, but we were telling all the cameramen, एक photo ले लेना, बाद में copy दे देना, छोड़ना नहीं है. और उसका photo के पीछे we went to the department, sports department, and took her signature as an autograph. So while you need a idol for other people to follow, but more important is the infrastructure. Okay? There has to be organizations, especially commercial organizations, which has to support the sports. Now, I was going through, mostly I'll be honest for preparing for this talk, about the women sports achievers. I came across a lady called Man Kaur. I don't know how many of you have heard the name. She is 103-year-old. Today, she holds the world record for the short part above 100 years. 103-year-old. Unimaginable. I don't think any of us will live till 103, and she is fit. I read about Bhavna Koyakar. She's 47. She has 2 teenage children. She took up power weightlifting. She is now a medal holder. But you have to have organizations to support them, what Bakshi Sahab says. There has to be a lot of infrastructure which has to come in to support. In fact, in Tata Steel days, when the first mountaineering institute and everything was put on, there was a hell lot of money was put in. The same reason why Tata Football Academy was put on. That we must catch them young, train them on the step by step, and then build them to be a world-class player. I am told nowadays there are a lot of scholarships which come. I am told Mr. Mittal has started some kind of a scheme whereby he wants to have Olympians on board. But actually, sir, you need both. You need idols. I'm sure Krishna today is an idol for many young people, and I'm privileged to sit alongside her. But you also need the infrastructure and the monetary support to bring up in. Support is needed. Once you achieve, as I keep giving management talks and keep telling people, if Sachin Tendulkar wanted to make money, he would never made runs nor made money. So you have to excel. And everybody sitting here have excelled in some sort of the other, and money has flown. So one, you need idol. Second, you need infrastructure. And third, you need encouragement in terms of both economic and the facilities and other things so that people can go up.
All right. Thank you for that. I'm going to transition that into women in sports. अगर ताली मारेंगे ना तो शर्मा के नहीं मारेंगे. क्यों शर्मा रहे हो? No one has restricted you from clapping or shouting or doing actually anything. So please, feel free. I'm going to transition to one conversation जहाँ पर शायद आप में से काफ़ी लेडीज होंगी जो खेलना चाहती होंगी जब आप यंग थे, स्कूल में थे और आपको बोला गया था कि खेलना तो लड़कों का काम है, और अगर एक लड़की खेलती थी अप्रिशिएट तो बाद में होती थी, पहले उस पर सवाल उठाए जाते थे कि अरे ये कैसी लड़की है, लड़कियां तो शायद घर के काम करती हैं, लड़कियां तो ऐसे चलती हैं, लड़कियां ऐसे ड्रेस करती हैं. इनफैक्ट कमिंग बैक to that conversation that you said, Krishna, you know, that the guys wore, well, I thought you said they wore frocks, that's why I said they were weird. But that's the thing, that's a mentality that if someone is wearing shorts, that's a guy. And that happens to women who try to go into the sports, that they are immediately said, she's not feminine enough. Or feminine नहीं हुई तो IPL वाले रिश्ते नहीं आएंगे उनके पास. You know, that mentality. So, Mr. Anup, I want to ask you about that. How does a woman deal with it? Does it have to be her individually? What could be the support system for her? And do we really need to pay attention to that? Because it is sometimes one of the biggest reasons women drop out of sports.
Yeah, I think what you said is right. The word is body shaming. If a boy is showing his muscle, he is praised. If a girl is doing that people say, ये तो ठीक नहीं है. And we have seen that, we have read about that. I think that is changing now. If you think around you, things are changing. And what Anup said, I agree. That other than cricket, if I hear any other sports person, I hear about Saina Nehwal, PV Sindhu, Hima Das, Deepa Karmakar, maybe a Tanya, maybe a Manu Bhakar in shooting, so many. So I think they don't need any crutches now. They have arrived. Let us accept that women have arrived. Now, our job is to just change our mindset. Let us be very open and accept that and support them that whatever way we can. Yes, there are still challenges. Yes, there are still, if there is a sports injury, if there is a government help, if there is they are going out and playing, maybe in some places it may be unsafe. So let us address those things. The willpower is there. If the willpower is there, and then if you see the media, let me thank media before I give it to Krishna, that yes, there are movies now on Mary Kom. There is another movie on Saina Nehwal. There is another movie called Dangal. So I think things are changing around you. Let us accept that.
Yes, actually, I think I climbed Everest 10 years ago. We already had a place then. In fact, one of the first awards I got, I had said that, somebody had asked me, what do you feel as a girl to have done this? And my honest reply was, I don't know what am I supposed to feel as a girl. Like, I don't know this. Sir talked about Bachendri Pal. Bachendri Pal is an unmarried mountaineer from Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand girls are already there. We are discussing this here right now. They have been there for the past 20 years, for the past 30 years. Bachendri Pal climbed in '84. She was the second woman in the world to have climbed Everest. India, in terms of mountaineering, in terms of sports, was there. I think, like you said, do girls need to be given more infrastructure? Do girls need to be given... I think as much as we're working on the girls, we actually need to work on the boys or on the men and on how they react to something and how they put something up now. Because I think the women have already, like sir said, bhook lag chuki hai aur wo ab खाने तक पहुंच ही जाएंगे. They have no other way to go but to reach their destination. It is just that the world around them, the families around them, the mentality around them, the society around them needs to accept them now and let them be and let them actually flourish and do what they're here to do.
A social change requires a tipping point. If you go to Haryana, and because we have very, very large presences in Haryana, if you go to Haryana and if there are women who are doing wrestling, they are equal to boys. Nobody talks about them. If you go to Uttarakhand, where again we have a very large presence, actually this is not even in their minds, if I may say so. It's not even in their minds. Actually, when you ask questions, is when they start thinking. if you go to Hyderabad, okay, because our towers are exactly opposite the academy, there is no question, nobody talks about it. So it's a critical mass that is required for a social change to happen. In isolation, yes. When P.T. Usha ran, Kerala ran. Now, if you see East and Northeast is running and doing athleticism, slowly and steadily you will see that the stigma will go away. Idol is important, money is important, a critical mass comes and infrastructure comes. It will go away. It takes time. But I must also say that it is not just about, in sports, women, men issue. I would say that 80% of the issues are common. You don't have infrastructure, you don't have money chasing it, you can't make a career sportsman today in India. 80% is common, 10% is certainly, you know, what you are saying. But that is true about men and women. I don't think we should isolate it that much to give it really an effect as if, you know, women have nothing to go for. There is an issue, but as I give you 3 examples of how the social change is moving. It indeed is.
All right.
Actually want to make a valid point here, you know, of the changing trend from my time. You know, when I was playing hundreds of years ago, we used to rarely allow a woman or a lady to come and bowl to us in the nets. So I remember the only person who was allowed was Diana Adalji. And she was India's greatest left-arm spinner, and she had the privilege of coming and bowling to us, the big Bombay boys in the nets. And every time she bowled, you know, you batted, you were circumspect, thinking, ye kidhar out kar di meri ko, to meri izzat jayegi. So let me just watch her, play her carefully. And if she appealed, if the ball hit you on the pads and she appealed, you gave her that dirty look and she'd say, sorry. The other day I went to watch a net where a young batsman was playing against a fast bowler, a girl fast bowler. She wanted a workout, so she came and she was really hitting the deck, getting the ball to pass his nose. And once or twice she bowled a quick bouncer. And the boy looked at her. And you know what she said? Abhe kya dekh raha hai lallu? It's actually a reflection of the changing trend, the fearlessness of a woman now to say, okay, you got a bat, I've got a ball. You want to challenge me? Challenge me with your equipment. You know, don't give me those looks because I can say stuff back to you and challenge you. And I thought to myself, and you know, there was again this rewind to Diana Adalji, and I said, my God, I'm now in a different sport. This is not the sport I played. It's positive, but coming back to that culture bit, you know, it has to change with our culture. In the good old days, you know, you asked, the boy went to see a girl, they would say, "Arey, khana pakati hai? Rabindra Sangeet gaati hai? Chalo, ready hai shaadi ke liye." Abhi kya hai? Olympic gold medal la sakti hai? Chalo, ready hai shaadi ke liye. That is the change.
That's fantastic. It's great to hear. I love it. I love what you are saying. I'm going to try and counter it. In terms of, I'm assuming you saw the net practice in Mumbai, sir. Uttarakhand, Krishna, you mentioned the girls over there, they don't care. They're going to do what the boys are doing. Hyderabad, we mentioned, I mean, I know of the academy because I met Gopi sir myself. And it's fantastic. वहाँ पर ऐसा है कि आप कितने भी rich हो या आप कितने भी poor हो, आप वही court पे खेलोगे, आपको उतना ही time मिलेगा. Again, this is not where the nation is what I would like to bring into account. Secondly, of course, सवाल ही नहीं उठता कि we are eons behind developed nations in terms of infrastructure for sports, be it men, be it women. And that's why I started off with Avinash Sable, who is a man. And the only reason he's competing is because वो गांव में रहता था, स्कूल 15 किलोमीटर दूर था, तो उसको भागना पड़ता था. वो भागते भागते उसकी आदत पड़ गई, तो अभी तक भाग रहे हो. It's literally that story. We want to focus on the women because the issues they face sometimes are different from the issues that the men face. Infrastructure is a common issue. Let's talk about one issue which most men won't face, which is safety. A lot of families, if you tell them, send your daughter to zonals. I've gone to zonals. I went to Bhopal. How many families would be comfortable कि a girl who is reaching that adolescent age, who's hitting puberty, be around sports guys who are also hitting the same age? Isn't that a consideration also? And I'd leave this open for who wants to start with this.
I
Okay.
think this is, sorry, you want to take it?
Yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I love it that you're fighting to talk. Go for it.
Okay, so I was discussing this with a friend just yesterday. She is a trainer in the Army Sports Institute in Pune. And this is something that, what I mean, infrastructure दोनों लड़कियों को और लड़कों को नहीं मिल रहा है. But the thought process of men is something we have to change. In Gulmarg, there's a skiing institute called Indian Institute of Skiing and Mountaineering. There is a principal there that is 60 plus years old. He is not the right man to be there. I have seen two girls that were about to compete in the Winter Olympics leave the course and go because of his sly behavior. And that is a real problem, which is what I meant by women are ready to take their places in this world. But we can fight chal ball khel. But if you do get pressed in a situation where you are scared for your safety, you will, your instincts will kick in and you will run out of it. Or you will shut up, because that man is a very, very privileged, high-profile army man that is the head of the institute. Even I couldn't do anything about it. And this is the truth. And this stigma is something that, even after the Me Too movement, is something that we have to fight. So this is exactly what I meant by when I said that we are there. We have, even if you hear about Bachendri Pal and the way she became a mountaineer, she was a little village girl that joined the institute. And for that matter, when you say infrastructure, I would talk about mountaineering infrastructure. We have 5 institutes in the country that are all under the army and the state governments that give you a course. The courses that I did were each 5,000 rupees each. Each course is for a month. I get food, lodging, equipment, syllabus, everything. Everything is taken care of by the institute. And that is, in fact, if you go through NCC, it is just $1,000, which is why so many Jharkhand girls come, or so many rural girls come to the institute and learn it. The infrastructure is there, but the environment, the way the men are going to talk about us, the way whether a girl comes back built up and her family says कि you are too manly looking. जब रिश्ते की बात होती है, अब औरतें पूछती है तू खाना बना सकता है घर पे, तभी मैं तुझसे शादी कर, क्योंकि मैं नहीं बनाने वाली हूँ खाना रोज. I can make it sometimes, but I'm not going to make it forever. This is what I mean by we have to change the way the society is also. Just making a girl really powerful is not going to work when the man is not going to support her. When the man is going to be like, नहीं ठीक है तू काम पे जा, लेकिन घर आके तू खाना बना. This is not going to work anymore. So.
All right. Yes, Mr.
आजकल Zomato भी है.
I heard Bengali men cook well, so I don't think उस state में कुछ problem होनी चाहिए.
This is very important. See, the issue that you talked about, safety, etc., it is there in all the fields. It's not whether you let your daughter go for sports or for education or for anything. You will find bad people everywhere, and there has to be exemplary punishment. So that is another issue. What I'm talking about is things are changing, they have to change, and are changing right at the beginning. Are you equally happy when a girl is born or a boy is born in the family? Number one. Okay. I believe it is changing. Right? I mean, I have only one daughter, proudest father when she was born. Right? Would it have made me a difference whether it was a boy or a girl? My daughter is not here, so I can say that it wouldn't have made a difference. I'm happy that it was a girl. I'm very, very proud of her. Things have to change there, because still in rural India, India is one of the very few countries where prenatal sex is banned. Prenatal sex tests are banned. Why they are banned is because we still kill women fetuses, girl fetuses. Slowly changing, have to change further. One, about bringing up while kids are being brought up, I think big change is needed the way boys are brought up. According to me, Indian men are the worst and most helplessly brought up people in the world. Right? Any woman, according to me, can happily live independently. I don't think any man can live independently. Then, sir, we will have to go for Zomato. Because men can't cook, generally speaking.
I don't think most of the men are disagreeing with that statement.
Absolutely. And today, we have come to a stage where Men have to be brought up properly. Girls already are being brought up properly. Let us not take the worst of examples. Women is the stronger sex. I mean, can we even imagine childbirth? You know, during my child was being born, I was there for about half an hour. After that, I lost
Consciousness.
I didn't lose consciousness. I lost my guts and I came out. Right? It's just my wife went through it. So women always have been the stronger sex. Men has been the weaker sex, both physically and in cases that she said even mentally. And
Yes, sir.
when men change, women will be safer. And you know, on the other side, we are unfortunately coming to a stage where boys are also being molested. Right? We are coming to that stage. That is a very different insect or a very different disease in the society, which has to be given exemplary punishments.
That would make for a completely different panel discussion, I'm sure. Yes, sir.
I have 3 points here. First of all, about the change. You know, I was just watching the television today. You know, when you give the Pushpanjali to Ma Durga, there is a part of the mantra is saying, Putrang Dehi Bhagavati Dehi Me. There are 150 pujas in Bengal this year who has changed that Putrang Dehi to Santan Dehi. It has happened this year. Okay? So when you're doing the Pushpanjali, you don't say Putrang Dehi, you say Santan Dehi. It has actually happened this year. Second, one more important part about bringing up women in sports is to have women administrators. Most of the associations, most of the people who hold the power to the sports bodies are men folk. I used to joke at one time that the head of Women's Football Association is a man, the head of Women's Cricket Association is a man. You need to have women administrators who will understand what Krishna is saying. You know, we recently read about a swimming coach, very unfortunate incident which happened. Ultimately, it had to go to that Me Too shaming it. But if you have women administrators, there can be ego issues, but safety issues will be more addressed to. And last point which I have on this thing is what you started with, is the fear of the parents of allowing their just growing adolescent. In fact, I know one of my friend's daughter who was a very good swimmer in Jharkhand, in Jamshedpur, who was actually almost on the verge of going nationals when she had an accident. But important point is not that. Important point is her mother is to accompany her to every meet that she went. Every meet. In fact, I represented Jadavpur in table tennis. I remember when you used to play inter-university, there was one girl whose mother used to come to, I've gone to 3 inter-university. She would come to all the inter-universities just to make sure that the daughter is there. So we need to build a system around it where we have women administrators, we have people who have, or parents who should have confidence that my daughter, as sir has rightly said, women are already well brought up. Just allow them to be away. And third is this gender bias. I don't know why we are discussing today about women empowerment. We should talk about sports other than cricket. The very fact that we are discussing doesn't make sense. You know, as you rightly said, 80% of the problems are common, sir. Infrastructure, small town, not having enough, well, even the food, the basic food that you need, the protein that you need to intake. Anyway, that needs to be done. But I am very happy. Today, I was telling my wife, I got a point to talk. I was watching television, 150 Durga Puja changed from Putrang Dehi to Santan Dehi, which is a great thing, I must say.
Absolutely.
I
That's
just want to
fantastic.
make one point very quickly. You know, I was speaking to Tom Moody, the former Australian cricketer, and I did work with him on the IPL for a television channel. And one day he spoke to me about sports culture, and he says, you know, it'll be a while before India embraces sports culture. So I asked him, what is sports culture? Can you explain to me? I mean, we're just cricket culture, we are cricket mad. So he says, you know, when a kid comes home, whether it's a boy or a girl, after sport in Australia, the father opens the door. And the first question he asks the child is, whether it's a boy or a girl, did you win? Did you win, mate? So the boy or girl says, no, I didn't. He doesn't even ask the second question. How did you go? In India, he says the problem is the father will open the door and ask the daughter or the son, how did you do? So he said, I scored 100. Then maybe the next question will come. He says, when that changes, then you will be in a culture of sport and you will have started that journey. Believe me, it's so heartening when you see an Australian team with women in that support staff, as massier, as trainer. It tells you that there are people there who are being judged for their talent and skill only, and not because they're, imagine a woman in a dressing room with 20 men. I mean, obviously she's there not for anything but her skill and her, her craft, which she's so good at. For me, that is the most heartening thing. When India gets to that stage, we'll all be very proud of the fact that we are treating women ahead of men. And I think it's like Mr. Tennyson's fault who wrote that poem Brook, where he says, I chatter, chatter as I flow into the brimming river. For men may come and men may go. Why the hell did he not say women may come and women may go? And I go on forever. That's where it should change. Women should come before men.
I can just feel your passion. Like, it just sends goosebumps through me sitting next to you. And I'm sure everyone else feels it as well. We are nearing the end of our time. So if any one of you would want to make any closing remarks, now is the time. Anything that you would like to say?
I think just a closing one. I think we should look at time series and see, are we improving or we are not improving? And I think there will be 100% consensus that we are improving. What is the rate of improvement? We can certainly work on. But I think we have every reason to be more optimistic than pessimist about this issue.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so sport is the most empowering thing. Sports can change the entire world. So the physical and mental toughness is very important. And for that, whether we talk about men or women, it is immaterial. But why we discuss women? Yes, there are real challenges. Yes, there are mindset issues. So we have to look at that. That yes, if there is a problem at house, the girl should not be withdrawn from the school. If they are going outside, we have to take care of the safety, whosoever is there. I think these are some of the things, and we have to change our mindset. So when we look at the muscles of a boy or a girl, we should not behave differently. I think that mindset has to change. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think the general consensus, at least on the panel here, is things have improved. As a nation, we were good at sport. We are getting better, which is a good thing. In terms of women, there are some issues that exist. But on the whole, all of you see it being very positive. You spoke about the budget as well, sir, which is fantastic. Like 100% increase in investment in sports is precisely what India needs. And I cover sports. It just means more work for me. So that's fantastic. Did I interrupt you, sir?
No, I just wanted to say something. She climbed the Everest, right? For me, her climbing the Everest, the effort is a winning effort, not getting to the top. When we start accepting that just the effort and the wholehearted effort deserves applause, we will say we've arrived as a sporting nation, And that journey for me is more critical than, the destination. Destination may happen, may not happen. I wanted to be the next Gavaskar. I didn't become because I wasn't good enough. But the effort was the same. She climbed the Everest, she got to the top. But I would applaud her more for making the effort to go up there. Whether she got it or no, secondary.
It's the opening of the door and saying, how was the day, rather than saying, did you score 100? Exactly. On that note, we spoke about the infrastructure, we spoke about the safety issues, we spoke about everything. I would like to end with just one thing, and this is more from personal experience rather than any research that I have done. I believe I come from a very fortunate family because the men and women in my family never looked at any sort of discrimination. In that regard, I would like to communicate this to all of you who are listening, कि infrastructure तो आ जाएगा, government तो काम कर लेगी, मीडिया भी अपना काम कर लेगी, promote कर लेगी, governments आके आपको reward कर लेंगे, लेकिन एक जो base होता है वो घर से शुरू होता है. मैं क्यों स्पोर्ट्स खेला? क्योंकि मेरे दादाजी ने मुझे बोला जाओ खेलो बेटा, अंदर क्या कर रहे हो? मेरे दादाजी ने मेरी बहन को भी वही चीज़ बोला कि तुम घर के अंदर क्यों बैठे हो, बाहर जाओ. मेरे मम्मी पापा ने कभी मुझे नहीं रोका खेलने से. मैं बोर्ड के एग्ज़ाम होते थे, CBSE में 3 दिन 4 दिन का आपको गैप मिलता है. मैं खेलता था, मुझे कभी रोका नहीं गया और ना ही मेरी बहन को. And my parents are not part of any government organization or anything. They are just part of my family. And that's where all of you get in. Where your children, where people you know have that kind of support in their family. Governments, media is all secondary. The primary starts at this level. And I hope we've communicated enough for the people here to understand that एंड इफ एट एनी पॉइंट आप एक ऐसी स्थिति में हो सकते हो जहां आप चाहे एक लड़का हो चाहे एक लड़की हो उसको आप इंकरेज कर सकते हो, चाहे आपकी फैमिली में हो या किसी और के, then I think this panel discussion has been a success. Thank you so much for all of you, to all of you for listening to us, and I hand the mic over to Mr. Shantanu.
Thank you very much. This is indeed a very enriching. Key theme is Ebhabeo phire asha jaye. What it means is you can also come back like this, and we are largely celebrating our 4 mothers, to your point, sir, on how we remember them. So in specific days of the event, we're actually remembering our 4 mothers by carrying a little bit of article of our 4 mothers through the evening with us. So thank you for the enriching discussion. I have just 2 small requests. As I mentioned you in our briefing, we have a small organization that we run for the empowerment of women. This is called Mission Shoing Shidda. I just request Dr. Jaiti Sarkar. She's our captain. She's our lady captain who's driving the organization right from the front. And we like to hand over a small memento to all of you. This is something that the women from MSs have made by their own hands, and hope you can take it back home. Come. We'll end the evening with this photo op, so I hope the cameramen are all ready. Thank you once again. A big applaud for the panel, please. We'll just take 10 seconds more for any photo ops, please. Thank you. Sir, we lead you to the place where we started from, and then we can disperse from there as good.